Hi guys, welcome back. It's Lionel Tech Lead and partner at Westport. And I'm back. I know I've been missing for a while, right? I've been working on stealth startup. That's right. And one of the things I had to do is validate this idea. So I, build a prototype or build actually the actual thing because, I've been in the business for so long that I actually decided like, why not? I just built the version A and then roll it out, agile. And in the first few weeks, I brought this out to other entrepreneurs or people who wanted to test the product. And I actually experienced three different people who are kind of like the people who fail along the way, right? And one of the main things is that it was quite disheartening when you present these ideas to them and they just completely slam it down. This is going to happen all the time, right? And I think there's a lot of reasons why this happens. But when you bring it up, and these are not your people in the street, right? These are, they say they're on the entrepreneurship journey, they're on various levels of it. But the minute you present it to them, right, there is so much negativity and so much bad stuff. So the first point you want to know about is why do people act like this, right? Why do people act like this? And I draw it from my other experiences, both in software development companies and running these companies, and also from other places like why I play golf and why do people do that? And I think one of the biggest reasons, right, is just plain jealousy, plain unhappiness that they see that you have a product that's actually taking off or moving, and they want to take their own whatever they've got and just be jealous about it, right? So one of the things is that they've got insecurities and they want to bring you down. And where I got this is that I've seen some art, what do you call YouTube videos, right, of people criticizing other people working out or criticizing people who are practicing at a driving range, trying to improve their skills, commenting about stuff, right? And I got this line somewhere. Someone told me, right, that no one who's better than you will ever criticize you working hard. Okay, so if you are like say 12 handicap, right, and you're working at the range and a 6 handicap comes by, they will never criticize you for that. And I feel that that's kind of true because I'm a pretty good golfer and I never criticize anybody for working hard. I applaud them for trying their best to make those mistakes and go through the process. It is the people who are not working hard, the people who are saying, hey, they're making fun of this guy, they're laughing, they say this is never working, they are the ones doing that, right? So I'm going to talk about these three personalities that you may run into, and this actually gives us some insight to where they went wrong and what happened. So the first guy, I'm going to call him Jason, right? So Jason is a new entrepreneur. He is just ending up schools, probably first or second year working, right? And he wants to be an entrepreneur. And he reached out, or I reached out to him and said, check out this idea. And one thing about Jason, right, is that he's tried a few things. He's Bitcoin, and he's gone through that process of looking at shiny stuff, right? So he sat down and looked at the idea. And Jason had huge amounts of feedback, a lot of stuff. A lot of the feedback came from what he had learned elsewhere, right? So it regurgitated or pulled out, sayings out there. Like you need to validate before you start. You mean all this kind of stuff. I decided to ask him a couple of questions like, shall I do a trial or shall I do a freemium model, right? And all the answers were very vague. He was very enthusiastic about it, but it was all coming from a vague place, right? And one of the reasons why he couldn't give you that kind of insight, right, was number one, he never jumped into it for one. They come in, they're very enthusiastic about the process. They've picked up lots of hearsay from everywhere else in the game, right? And they are just putting it in front of you and say, okay, why didn't you do the fundamentals of this? Why didn't you do the fundamentals of that? A lot of stuff just comes out from the textbook or, without any industrial experience. And then at the end of the day, they say, hey, okay, good up. And they go back to doing what they're doing. But one of the problems, right, is they are doing these straddles. So they've got something full time or they want to be a digital nomad and they're trying to roll this and they haven't actually sat down with the product and presented it out there. It hasn't really been skill or hard knocks. And these guys are, I would say, a little bit disheartening. Reason being, you kind of hear this age-old wisdom stuff, and it can be very like, "Hey, give me the meat and bones here. Are you going to buy this? Is this going to work out?" So, not quite what you want. These are people that you're going to run into, and the reason why they fail, right, is that they never put it as what they're serious about, right? So, as I said, if you are trying to be serious about anything, you have to put yourself out there to fail and you have to tell people that you are serious about it. You don't put insurance policy out there and say, hey, this I'm doing on the side. I'm doing this for exercise. I'm just doing this for experience. You have to be honest with yourself and be responsible, and you're going to lose out and just say, look, I don't know this stuff. I am not experienced in this area. I am sorry, but this is what I can do for you. This, I'm going to research this. I'm going to try it out. I'm going to come back in it rather than pull it out from somewhere. So this is the first kind of person, I would say, the inexperienced newbie, who will judge you for that. Okay. Now the second guy is, let's call him Matt. So Matt's been in the business for a long time. He's been in a sales role, right, and kind of run his own thing. But poor Matt is packed up from Canada, has moved somewhere else, and he has been there for 20 years, right? And when I presented the whole idea off the go, right, it was negative, negative, negative. Like, I've seen this before. It's gonna fail. What's new about this? What's new about that? Blah, 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 blah. And where was this pain of failure of stuff? Why is it being projected there? You're gonna see a lot of guys like that. So they've gone out, they've worked it, and the industry has given them the hard knocks. Okay, and they've become sort of very cynical about it, that you can't succeed. They made some decisions that didn't quite go wrong, and they project that onto you. So that's the kind of guy that, they see this person working hard at the gym, right? And they laugh at him and say, hey, look at how stupid he is. He can't succeed. The reason is that they don't succeed themselves. And what they'll tell you, right, is I've got 20 years of experience in the game. This is not going to work out. Let me tell you, you've got nothing special. You've got nothing there. Actually, they haven't even opened up the product and taken a look at it. They just need to feel that reinforcement to project their failure onto you. Now, these guys, there are quite a number of them, right? They have a little bit of useful stuff in the points they pull out, but I would say you probably need to take a very strong spoon of sugar when you talk to them, because the negativity is very strong. And working with them, right, you have to separate some of this stuff. They will be the last adopters of your idea, because adopting that idea will be sort of validating their failure to the business. That's what happens, right? So you get all these people, and it doesn't stop when you're successful. So you get the naysayers who keep bashing Elon Musk, right? He'll never succeed. I've been in this 25 years. Electric cars will not succeed. It's never been done, never succeeded. There is no end to these people. It's very easy. The share price goes to 1,000 and comes back to $700. They are just very happy on that. My advice, obviously, is take what you can with these guys. It is a bit morale destroying when you are interacting with them. And the worst thing you can do is to just buy in. So, you have to just be polite and say, hey, thanks. Sounds really good. I'll come back to you. They're usually the last to adopt, or they're going out of business. It's one of these two things that's going to happen. They will give you some little snippets of information, but not very, very useful. So Matt, not the best kind. And then the final guy that I want to talk to you guys about is let's call him Aaron. Okay, Aaron is a I would say the tech the tech success, so called, the fanboy or whatever it is. Okay, so I meet up with Aaron at a coffee shop, and he presents himself as very innovative, forefront catching, all that kind of stuff, right? And I present the idea to him. I talk to him about the idea. I'm not looking for money. I'm just looking for someone to work through that idea, right? First meeting goes good. Aaron's very, very flashy. But the second meeting, right, I realized that Aaron is a bit of a hot air balloon. Okay, just to say that this is a bit of a hot air balloon. I've been in the business for 20 years, right? And I've seen a lot of these guys. A lot of these guys have a little startup that's kind of floating on the side, but not really going anywhere. And when they come across one of the biggest warring indicators, right, is where they sort of project themselves and blow their own horn. So they would say, hey, I raised this amount of money. I've got all these kind of stuff. These are my credentials. It's all very hot. If it's crypto, it's crypto. It's AI, blockchain, whatever you say, they're there, right? And they present themselves as the guru. Now, almost 15 years ago, I've met with these guys, and they're never around the second cycle, or maybe they're just floating around. And what you will notice with these guys is, number one, they are always projecting themselves. There's a bit of insecurity down there. They come in and they say, I've done this, I'm doing this, I'm sold this for hundreds of millions of dollars and all that kind of stuff. I mean, some people are like that, but you don't really need to be pitching so hard. I am not really the top of the top. And even if it's that, it doesn't mean anything. That being in mind, I did raise $10 million in a startup earlier, a lifetime ago. But I don't really project it because to me, that's not important. I'm about what we're doing now. What is the product that we're doing now? So you have that kind of insecurity down there. Number two, they lack that role that they're actually doing. So usually one of the insecurities that these kind of guys have, right, is that they don't actually have a tangible role. They're not really, they say that maybe they're in a pitch man or they're a hype master, but they don't really enjoy that. They're not really technical strong. They can't really code. They're not into the back end of the stuff. So you're really wondering, okay, maybe this is a guy who, directs people, pulls them together and pitches ideas and stuff like that. And they're kind of missing that as well. And what happens to these guys, right, is that they always present themselves. They need to step on you to feel good about themselves. So they're very upset when you present something to them that actually works. And, they'll say stuff like, I don't have time for this. I'm really busy. I'm doing my own $1 billion idea. I'm doing my own $100 million idea. One thing I've learned, right, doing this kind of stuff is you don't evaluate just the idea itself. You evaluate the people, the person behind the idea. Of course, the idea will showcase a lot of their philosophy and their ideas behind that. You never know when something's going to merge and become something bigger than it is. Like I said, I made a huge mistake long time ago when I saw this thing called the Facebook, right? And I said, what the heck is that, right? I mean, you put up pictures of yourself and, that's a $1 billion idea. So I've learned that lesson. A great idea can come from anywhere. It's like that ratatouille, a good chef could come from anywhere. So that's the first thing, there's a lack of maturity down there. The second thing about it, right, is that they're always projecting themselves as the next big thing, the next busy guy. I'm so busy. Now, when you meet these kind of guys, right, the first thing you need to evaluate is exactly what is their role in the organization that they're running. When someone says a CEO, are they an engineering level CEO? Are they a marketing CEO? Are they, a people management person? So you got to see. And one thing that you realize when you sit with these kind of guys is that they don't seem to have a role anywhere. Now, this will lead into this insecurity and they will lash out at your idea. So Aaron, I presented the idea to Aaron, and in absolute passive aggressive nature, right? He just ditched the whole thing. And again, didn't open it. They just seem to not even give it 5 to 10 minutes. And you're going to see a lot of people do that. It may come from your venture capitalists, right? Who, some of the junior analysts who are working there, they're from, top schools or whatever. They may say something about it. You may say this from so-called industry guys who invested a few bucks in Bitcoin and then now they think they are all that. Like, you will see a lot of people need that put down, right? That somehow, if they're putting you down, they're making themselves important. So, and it will come in a very passive aggressive nature that they do that kind of stuff. Why do they do that? It's an insecurity thing because they don't have it. One thing I realized is that he was a bit not. I think as a tech lead, all of us try to focus on our technical skills. And when you're not a technical person, right, you throw out a lot of technical jargon and then you run away because you don't want to be caught and you feel insecure that you cannot run a tech company without knowing the details, knowing how to code. That is one of the most, I think, what I experience is a lot of insecurities by a lot of these guys, right? And somehow, no matter what it is, if someone isn't a coder, you don't have the respect for them. I know it's a little bit, how can I say it, a bit snobbish from us, but the flip side is bad as well because that insecurity projects itself out and you lash out on people. Now, what I want to tell you guys is that if you've gone out and you've seen this, you've seen the passive aggressive stuff, which is, hey, good luck, I'm out, good luck. Kind of that kind of thing, then you gotta say, hey, uh, just point out the thing and then you kind of move on from this guy. So being a bit thick-skinned about this is important. I've learned that over the years, especially when you're in this process, right? It's a bit different from the technical side where you're just trying to make something that works rather than you're actually having to sit there and have a beauty contest. But these are kind of the people that will come up down there, and you want to recognize them quickly and don't get bogged down. Don't get bogged down. Uh, that's a lot. There's gonna be a lot of negativity because you are trying to get to the 5%. Okay, you are the guy who's working to get to the 5%, and the 80% of the people, these guys, they don't like it. They don't want you to get there. They feel jealousy. They feel their own insecurity, whereas you're trying to make it, right? And they're going to put that kind of stuff down. It is the person that sits back and has a retrospective feel about this stuff and like, okay, where did I go wrong? What else can I do to fix this stuff, right? These are the people who are going to sit back and say, hey, let me take a look at that. Let me see what you're working on. And those kind of things like I mentioned about, right? Not exactly looking 100% at the product, but looking at the whole mindset of the idea that whether it's going to work out. So, I mean, look, I've been around, I've got that maturity now these days. This is the process that we have to do. We're going to keep working at it. I will be looking forward to reveal that. And look, I'm going to take more criticism from you guys, especially if you are a subscriber on my channel. I will take it from you guys and validate the idea. But we're going to work this together, and I hope I can take you guys through that journey down there. That's the bottom line because the tech lead said so.